Good morning and happy Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in to this morning's video. My name's Ryan Dodson, and on behalf of Ivan Assembly of God and IAGSM Kids, we just want to thank you again for tuning in this morning. 2 weeks from right now, that's July 19th, at 11 a.m., we will be having Kids Church right here in this room. It's our first service back. Myself and my Kids staff team will be hosting Kids Church in this room. We'll be super safe. We'll have everybody spread out, super clean. And so I hope that you're one of the people that attends that Sunday. If you don't feel comfortable yet, that's no problem. We're still going to record these videos at least for a few more weeks and still try to reach you that way. But we encourage you to come back. We're taking every precaution that we can to keep everybody safe. So we hope to see you there. So next week, we're just going to kind of do like a kind of a review of everything we've talked about so far in this Finding Jesus Under the Sea theme. It's been like 11 lessons. It feels like we've been talking about this forever. And I said at the beginning, hopefully we were back in Kids Church before I finish. Well, we're missing it by 2 weeks. But anyways, I say all that to say this is kind of like my last message, really, before we get back into Kids Church. And it's just kind of funny that it's the same exact Bible story that I started out this online video lesson series with, and that's Daniel in the lion's den. But before I get to the Bible message, I want to share about the creature we're going to be talking about this morning in our Finding Jesus Under the Sea lesson series. And that's fish. Not really a specific fish in general, just fish. So not the sharks and the whales, not the crabs and stuff on the ocean floor. We're talking about the fish, the ones in the middle. And you know, fish really like to swim in schools. They like to stick together. And sometimes you'll see schools of thousands, literally thousands and thousands of fish swimming together. Do you know why they want to swim together? It's for their protection. So if a shark is swimming by and he sees one fish out in the wide open water all by itself, that's looking like a good meal for him. But if he's swimming by and he sees this big glob, this big dark glob come by, that's bigger than he is, chances are he's probably going to get scared, or he's not going to go mess with him because he doesn't know really what it is. And even if he sees it's a big school of fish and he tries to go eat some of them, you know, they can go all different directions and confuse him. So like I said, they school so they can protect one another. They help each other out and keep each other safe. Well, you know, we as humans, we like to school as well. We like to be around other people. We don't like to go to school normally, but we like to be around other people. And we like to be in large groups and crowds, and we like to have a good time. Well, the problem is, sometimes if we're not with the right school, especially as Christians, it can lead us to do some things that we normally wouldn't do and that we probably shouldn't be doing, which means that's a sin for us. So if we know that we ought not do something, but we do it anyways, that is considered sin. That's Scripture. But so you really have to watch which school you follow, because some schools, some groups are in it to protect you. Some people love you, love God, and want nothing but the best for you, and will absolutely help you out tremendously. But some schools, some friend groups, you know that they can take you down a long, dark road, a place that you never want to be and can get you in all kinds of trouble. Well, the good thing about us is we're not like those fish where we have to count on other fish or other people to keep us safe all the time. We can actually turn away from those schools and go right off by ourselves, and most of the time we don't have sharks sitting there looming, waiting for us to be all alone and all scared. We've got a God who protects us, who's always there with us. Let me read this scripture, this Daniel in the lion's den. It's Daniel chapter 6, verses 6 through 27. So these governors and satraps thronged before the king and said thus to him, King Darius live forever. All the governors of the kingdom, the administrators and satraps, the counselors and advisors, have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree, that whoever petitions any god or man for 30 days, except you, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, O king, establish the decree and sign the writing, so that it cannot be changed according to the law of Medes, the Persians, which does not alter. Therefore, King Darius signed the written decree. Now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went home, and in his upper room With his windows open towards Jerusalem, he knelt down on his knees 3 times that day, and prayed and gave thanks before God, as was his custom since early days. Then the men assembled and found Daniel praying and making supplication before his God, and they went before the king and spoke concerning the king's decree. Have you not signed a decree that every man who petitions any god or man within 30 days, except you, O king, shall be cast into the den of lions? The king answered and said, The thing is true, according to the law of Medes and the Persians, which does not alter. So they answered and said before the king that Daniel, who is one of the captives from Judah, does not show due regard for you, O king, or for the decree that you have signed, but makes his petition 3 times a day. And the king, when he heard these words, was greatly displeased with himself, and set his heart on Daniel to deliver him. And he labored till the going down of the sun to deliver him. Then these men approached the king and said to the king, Know, O king, that it is the law of the Medes and Persians that no decree or statute which the king establishes may be changed. So the king gave the command, and they brought Daniel and cast him into the den of lions. But the king spoke and saying to Daniel, Your God, whom you serve continually, he will deliver you. Then a stone was brought and laid on the mouth of the den, and the king sealed it with his own signet ring, and with the signets of his Lord, that the purpose of concerning Daniel might not be changed. Now the king went to his palace and spent the night fasting, and no musicians were brought before him. Also his sleep went from him. Then the king arose very early in the morning, and went in haste to the den of the lions. And when he came to the den, he cried out with lamenting voice to Daniel. The king spoke, saying to Daniel, Daniel, servant of the living God, has your God, whom you serve continually, been able to deliver you from the lions? Then Daniel said to the king, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the lions' mouth, so that they have not hurt me, because I was found innocent before him. And also, O king, I have done no wrong before you. Now the king was exceedingly glad for him, and commanded that they should take Daniel up out of the den. So Daniel was taken up out of the den, and no injury whatsoever was found on him, because he believed in his God. So Darius honored God, and the king gave his command, and they brought those men who had accused Daniel, and they cast him into the den of lions. So King Darius was really on Daniel's side the whole time. King Darius really didn't want Daniel to be thrown into a den. He just kind of wanted the fame. You know, if somebody came to you and said, we're going to sign a law that everybody has to treat you with the utmost respect and like honor you for 30 days, we would probably sign that too. Darius wasn't trying to do anything against our God. He wasn't trying to take any glory away from our God. He was just got caught up, and somebody kind of tricked him into doing this. But like I talked about in the very first video, you know, even though these things happened, you know, Daniel didn't have any control over the situation. He just kind of got caught up in it, just like we are caught up in this whole COVID thing. None of us saw this coming. None of us could have changed anything, yet we just have to deal with it. And like I said, that first video, we can't control what happened, but we can control how we respond. And as far as I know, everybody is doing great so far, and we really responded well. I made a promise to you guys that I was going to finish out my degree and my college career strong. I did that. I know I asked you guys to promise me that you would finish out your school year strong, and I've talked to several of you, and I know you did that. So congratulations, we've gotten this far, and it looks like we can finally see a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, we're coming back to church in 2 weeks, and again, I hope to see you there. But you know, we can really learn from Daniel that God is always there. No matter what the situation is, no matter how alone we feel, God is always there to protect us. You know, Daniel didn't have a big school. He didn't have a big group of friends. He was all by himself. In this whole town, when nobody is worshiping God, Daniel was the only one. And he was persecuted. He was thrown into a den of lions because he stood up for what he knew was right. But God kept him safe. So again, don't follow the crowd. When a group of your friends wants to go do something that you know you're not supposed to do, don't follow with them. Please don't. Do what you know is right and ask God to be there. It's not always going to be the most popular. It's not always going to be the most fun. Sometimes you might feel like you're missing out on something, but I promise you that you will be better for that, and you will always come out ahead of rather than if you went and did whatever that group of people is doing. So stay safe. Avoid those bad schools of fish. Find a good school. That's why I really want to get back to church, so you can see some of your good peers. Peers are people around you of your age. So like your friends or people like you go to church with. Those are peers. I want to get you guys back together so you can see each other, wave at each other. We're not going to high five and hug. We're just going to wave at each other. We can laugh together and show some support for each other and just be a good school of people that we can hang out with and support, and just some good role models for each other. So anyways, I hope to see you in 2 weeks. I love you. Stay safe. See you soon.